Hey, we back. I'm here once again on Karuta, and we're talking about the Solisfair event again. I did a video on this a while ago, back when the event first started. And one thing that I've noticed is a lot of people comparing how many fruits that they've got, how many drinks that they've got, and how many frames that they've got. I said at the start of the event, in my last video, but realistically it's going to take you a little while to get a couple of the frames because the event is long and it's convoluted, I guess you could say. There's a lot of different steps in order to get the frames. I will briefly go over them here. First, you've got to react on things to get fruit pieces, which you then place on this board. When you get a bunch of them in a row, you get fruit, which will line up here, and then when you've got fruit, you can put them together in drinks to get drinks. When you've got drinks, you put them together to actually get the frames. That's a lot of steps. And like I said then, takes you a while to get frames. Personally, it's been quite a while since I've made that video. It's now the 21st for me. It's probably like the 23rd or 4th for you guys. About a week left of the end of the event. I've got about a week and a half. I've only got one frame so far. I'm almost getting my second one. What I'm here to do today is talk about some strategy on how to get the most fruits, what I've seen people doing, what my opinion on it is. Of course, at the end of the day, it's up to you how you get the most fruit. But yeah, one thing that you'll notice about my fruit specifically is that I've got a lot of certain amounts of fruit. I have a lot of lemons, I've got a lot of oranges, a lot of blueberries, a lot of coconuts. I don't have so much of everything else. So why is that? Well, that's down to the strategy that I've used when placing them on the board. Personally, I think it's a pretty good strategy, so I'll explain briefly what I'm doing. Of course, like I say, you can do whatever you want. But what I do is I prioritize getting one fruit at a time. So at the moment I'm prioritizing getting these apples. You see I've got these two here, I've got this one here. I think if I move this out the way, there you go, there's another one in there. So I have a lot of apples on my board at the moment. And at some point I'm going to try and put them all together and I'm going to get like 10 apples at once. And then that'll be another one here that's suddenly got a lot of fruit. I've been going through the last few weeks and getting a lot of a certain fruit, and my aim is that by the end of the month I'll have like 10 of each fruit and I can suddenly finish off loads of drinks at once and get loads of frames. Now, why do I think this strategy is better than just going for one fruit at a time? Because when you get just one fruit at a time, it costs you 3 fruit pieces to get it, right? But, as it says here, you will receive an extra fruit for every connected cell beyond the third. So, while getting one fruit for 3 fruit pieces maybe isn't such a great ratio, if you get 8 fruit for 10 fruit pieces, that's suddenly a pretty great ratio, and you end up getting more fruit per fruit piece. Makes it more worth it, in my opinion. Of course, in order to get that, you're going to have to waste some fruit by putting them on top of each other. So does it actually mathematically work out as a better strategy? Who knows? I haven't done the maths. I doubt anyone really has. You maybe could, but it's all just down to chance on which ones you get to place at any one time anyway. And of course, if you haven't been doing this the whole time, it's going to be difficult to start now because, like I say, we've only got a week left of the event, and you're going to be in a position where getting 10 of one particular fruit doesn't help you too much. You want to continue going. So the most important thing is actually to continue with the strategy that you've got. I'm just here to discuss my opinions on the event in general. Here's the real point though. The real point is that actually, regardless of your strategy placing here, there is a big difference on who has more and who has less drinks. And of course that's the goal of the event, right? To get as many drinks as possible so you get as many frames as possible. The people that have the most drinks are, funnily enough, regardless of strategy, the people in the most servers. The same as grabbing a lot of cards, getting a lot of good cards in fact. What you want to be doing really is you want to be in as many big servers as possible that are getting lots of drops. You want to be there sniping all the fruit pieces, because wherever you're placing them on the board, if you're getting more fruit pieces, you're going to be getting more drinks at the end of the day. So there's a bit of a toss-up here between putting some thought into it and trying to optimize your fruit pieces to drink ratio, and just simply going for as many fruit pieces as possible and shoving them down wherever. And there will be people that have got probably hundreds of drinks at this point, just because they've been getting a lot of fruit pieces, and it doesn't matter so much where they put them as long as it's reasonably sensible, because what they're doing is just getting a lot of fruit pieces. So that's really what I would encourage you to do if you want to get as many of these frames as possible, is to be getting lots of fruit pieces. You also have to remember that depending on how many people successfully get these frames, get as many drinks as possible, the price of the frames is going to go up and down. If not many people manage to get them, then the price of the frame is going to be much higher than it would be otherwise. So you've got to keep that into consideration as well. It's actually worthwhile keeping an eye on how many drinks other people have, not just so you can think about what strategy they might be using and which servers they might be in order to get those fruit pieces, but also just so you can kind of gauge how the price of each frame is going to change. Now, if we have a look at the box, as we did last time, I discussed which frames are nice. Personally, I think the 4th and the 5th one are the best, and I think they will probably be the most valuable. It seems like at the moment Solisfair SIP is, in fact, the most valuable of the 5 frames. But the price of these frames will change dramatically after the event is over, because at the moment there is still a supply of them. People are still getting them, still happy to sell them, whereas as soon as the event finishes, the supply is going to run out very quickly, and that's when the price goes up. I would suggest not selling your frames right as the event is going or after it finishes, and wait a little bit so that the price goes up, especially if you manage to get the 4th and 5th ones that I think are going to be more valuable. But you can estimate how likely it is the price goes up by looking at the people around you and how many drinks they've got. If you see a lot of people with like 100 drinks, then probably the price isn't going to be so high. But hey, it all depends on the general economy of the bot globally, so there's a lot of things to think about. I don't have anything particularly important to say in this video, to be honest. I just wanted to generally discuss how I'm getting fruit, how other people are getting fruit, maybe some strategy, and just generally what's going on with the event. A bit of an update, I guess you could say, because when I first made the video about the event, it had been going for about 2 days, and some things have changed since then. But anyway, I think I've said everything I wanted to say, so I hope you have some good luck getting as many drinks as possible. This is how many I've been getting. It's worth mentioning as well that you can store up to 100 fruit pieces without placing them on your board. It's not going to load my board now, but you can store 100 fruit pieces without placing them. So it might be worth not placing them all immediately after you get them, just so you can judge some strategy and stuff like that from other people, and then place them all at the end of the event. That might be a wise suggestion. However, one thing it doesn't tell you is how many fruit pieces you have left to place. I'm pretty sure it doesn't tell you that anywhere on here. I certainly haven't seen it. So you can see that I have some fruit pieces here to place, but do I have more after that? I don't actually know. So that's fun, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, I was ending the video and then I proceeded to not. So I'm going to end the video now. Bye!